This is a video I'm doing, gonna be talking about how to process multiple images of the moon to get a better final picture. Actually gonna stack some pictures, so instead of just taking one shot of the moon, which I normally did, I was on a Facebook group page and I saw a user there had taken like 40 to 50 separate shots of the moon and then stacked them together, and the final image, which had much more detail. So I thought I'd try that. So this is a walkthrough of what I did. So went out one night and took some photos of the full moon, and they're here. I took them in RAW. I think they're 52 pictures. So I'll open up one so we can see. And here is the photo. Let's look at the image properties. So I took it with the Nikon D7500 APS-C camera. I used a Sigma 150 to 600 millimeter lens. I had the lens at 600 millimeters. I also used a Kinko 0.4 teleconverter as well. So overall, I think my overall effective focal length was over 1200 millimeters. I also used a tracking mount, an ioptron tracking mount, which I think might have caused an issue because it rotates around the declination and ascension axis, and there was some rotation in the photos, which took me a while to figure out. But here, what some of the photos look like. So they individually, I guess they came out okay. And but let me show you what the final stacked image of the photo looks like. If I can go in here, I have a photo. Let's go to my Flickr page. So here is the final photo after it was stacked, and it has just much more detail. You can see sharpness. So I'm going to show you how I did that. So I'm going to come in here. First thing I need to do is open up the photos in Lightroom. So I need to import them. For this example, I saved them in a folder called Moon Processing Video 2. So I need to go in that photo and find those pictures. Here we go. So here are all the photos. I'm going to import them into the same photo. Hit import. It's going to copy all these. I think there's 52 photos. Import them in from the hard drive onto Lightroom. So this may take just a little while. Okay, now the photos all have been loaded in here. I'm going to go into the develop module and look at the first photo. And what I'm going to do is just make some adjustments here in the photo just to maybe make it look a little bit better. I think I had a white balance set on the camera of daytime, which I usually do that for astrophotography, but I don't think that was really appropriate. It looks a little bit too dark, so I'm going to change. If I auto white balance, it looks a little better. I'm just going to go in here and make a few minor adjustments. I'm going to bump the exposure up a little bit. This is just all by eye. Contrast, see what that does. I think I'm going to leave that alone. Highlights, no. I
I'm going to do the texture. See how that's bringing out more detail there, maybe a little clarity. I think I may come up with the whites a little bit. Maybe it's about there. Now we can see the before and after. This is the before and this is the after. I like how that looks much better. Maybe do a medium contrast. Let's see if I might do a little sharpening here. And then do the profile lens correction. And I think that's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to copy all these settings from this image to all the other ones. So I'm just going to, this is highlighted. I'm going to go to the last photo, hit shift and then left click to highlight everything, and hit sync. And I got everything checked, so it's going to synchronize the settings for the first photo, and it's going to apply them to all the other 51 photos. So now each photo has the same look or the same settings applied. For expediency, I'm not going to process all 52 photos. That's going to take more time. I think I'm just going to take the first 20 and just stack those and show you how that works, but the same principle would apply using all 52. What I'm going to do though is go in here, the processing folder. I'm going to set up another folder, and you'll see why in a bit. I'm going to call these aligned images. Save that. So now what I need to do is I'm going to select the photos that I want to use, and I'm going to edit them in Photoshop. So I'm going to click the first photo. Like I said, I'm just going to use the first 20 just for this example, but like I said, you can do more than that. So I've selected these. Then I'm going to go into Photo, Edit In, and then go into Open as Layers in Photoshop. So now I'm just going to take these 20 photos, bring them over into Photoshop, and each photo is going to be opened into its a separate layer in Photoshop. And I'm kind of doing this video for informational purposes to help other people out, but I'm also doing this for myself, so I can make a video of the process and procedure, so I can review the video, go back to see what I've done, because it did take me a little while to figure out how to do this. It was a little bit of a learning curve, and I want to have like something documented, so the next time I want to stack some moon shots, I know the general procedure. So if you look here over on the right, and this is the area where Photoshop has the layers, so it's going to create a layer. See, with each image it's created one layer now. with one photo, so it's going to create 20 different layers, one layer representing each photo. Okay, well, looks like that took a while, probably at least 5 minutes or maybe a little bit more, but as you can see here, Photoshop has put 20 pictures, each on a different layer, 6395 down to 6414. So if I unclick these, so as you can see, each picture is on its different layer in Photoshop. So now what I need to do is align these, because the photos rotated. This, say for example, this point right here is not in the same location on all the photos. From what I read, I'm going to be using Autostakkert to stack these, and what I read, it says Autostakker should be able to handle photos that are have rotated, but I tried this earlier and had some problems. That's why I'm doing it this way. So I'm going to select all of these photos. I'm going to highlight this one by left clicking, go down to the last photo, hold on the shift key, left click, select all. So now I'm going to align all these photos. So I go into edit, auto align layers, and I'm going to do the auto and click OK. I did this before, but I'm not sure how long this took. But again, if this takes a while, I'll just cut that part out and then cut back to the video once it's finished auto aligning. Okay, now that took a little while too. So now Photoshop finished stacking these photos, but you can see how in order to get the points lined up, Photoshop ended up having to rotate some of the photos. But as you can see, everything, all the photos look like they're in the same orientation. So what I need to do is I need to export each one of these layers out as a individual image. So what I'm going to do is use export in layers to files. So that way I can have each one of these layers as an individual image file. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to crop the first image so I can get all the background the same black, and the same each image needs to be the same size for it to work well in Autostakkert. So I'm going to go here into File, Export, Layers to Files. Here I'm going to the destination folder. I'm going to use the aligned images. That's why I set that up previously, because I want to keep these 20 photos separate from the other 52 so I know what I'm dealing with. So I'm just going to click OK. The file name prefix, I'm not going to worry about that. And I want to use JPEG because I think Autostakkert works better with, yet it can't handle raw files. So I need to change these to JPEG, but I want to use the highest quality JPEG, which is 12. I'm still kind of, well, let me change this to, say aligned. I don't remember what this does, but we'll find out. So now it's going to hit run, and it's going to save each one of these layers in that folder as a JPEG file. Okay, you got the message here, export layers to files was successful. Hit OK. Let me close this down. Let's see what we got. Into this aligned images folder. So see, now we have all the 20 files here, images. Let's take a look what these look like. But you can see how they're rotated. So I'm not gonna, but that worked out okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to import those into Lightroom. Maybe there's a better way to do it in Photoshop, where I could go in here to Photoshop and crop each layer, but I don't know how to do that. I'm not well versed in Photoshop if there's a way to do that. So I'm going to go back into Lightroom. I'm going to import these aligned photos. I'll go library, import. Let me let it get there first. So here we go, aligned images. I'm going to import that. So now it's just going to import all of these. While I'm waiting for that to import, I'm going to come in here. And let me close out Lightroom. So I'm going to set up another folder. So now it's imported all of these. I'm going to go into the develop module. I'm going to crop. This is the crop tool. I think I'm going to go and just say 1:1. But I want to crop this to get rid of the white there. I can click this unlock so I can move each. I'm just going to try to center this kind of here, and I pretty much ruined the 1:1, but it's alright. So now we got that. Now I'm going to just copy the crop from this picture to all the other 19. So I'll go down to the end, hit shift, sync. I'm going to check none, but then hit crop, then synchronize. So it's going to apply that same crop to all the photos. And there we go. Should all be the same size and they've been aligned. So since they're all highlighted, I'm going to export those to the folder that I had set up. This was Moon. Sorry, here 2020. Moon processing video, final crop. Select that folder. I'm going to remove the watermark. It's going to put it in a subfolder. I'm just going to leave it there because that's what I normally do for all my photos. So I'll just have that already selected for when I process my other regular photos. So now it's just exporting all of these final aligned, cropped images that are all the same size, and then now I can just load these into Autostakkert. It is a little of a procedure. Like I said, it took me a little while to figure out how to do this to get these all aligned and the same size, but I think the end result is well worth the effort. So let me shut that down. See what we got here. Final cropped. So there we go. We got the final images. So now I'm going to open up Autostakkert, which is here. Okay, here's Autostakkert. I'm going to open up the 20 pictures. So let me go to where I have them at. Now here I got to change file type to image files. There we go, aligned. Select all of these, hit open. Here I can zoom out, move this arrow over so I can get the photo if I want to see it all. There we go. So the next thing, I just leave these the same here. Planet, COG, dynamic, Laplace, 4, local. Next thing I need to do here is hit analyze. It's going to analyze all the 20 images, and it's actually going to rank them by sharpness. And then what you can do is set a percent frames to stack, and it'll stack the sharpest. If you put 60, the sharpest 60% or 50%. But it's going to produce a little graph here showing you the results. So now it analyzed all the pictures and it showed you a quality graph. I've read somewhere it says maybe use 50%, but I'm going to use 60%. But I can hit this play button and it'll run through all the 20 pictures and it'll show you how the pictures look. But see, they're not really moving very much, so they seem to be stacked very well. So I'm going to say hit stop. Next thing we need to do is to align or put some points here, alignment points. The easiest thing is just place AP grid, alignment point grids. I just leave all of this pretty much the way it is. Place grids. Here it's calculating the points. It's going to put a whole bunch of points up here. There we go. Now the next thing to do is just hit stack, and it'll run through its calculations. This may take a little while, but you can see as it'll go through all of its calculations. It'll check each one of these items here. I said I tried to use Registax, which is another program here, but I always kept running into problems. It kept just locking up on me. I did some reading and research online. A lot of people said Autostakkert is more stable, it's better to use. And I've found out once I go through these steps here, get everything aligned, and I never really had any problems with Autostakkert. Then it also produces a sharpened file, which I found to be does a very good job. I click here, get a normalized stack, and then sharpened, and you can see the difference that's going to make. As you can see, it's going through all of the different steps. Just want to check my battery level. I know I'm running low on battery power. I don't have my laptop plugged in, so I think I'll be able to finish this with no problem. Well, now it looks like it's finally done, so what I'm going to do is minimize this. Let's go into the folder here. And it saved the files here in this folder, AS_P60. And here we have an image. It's a regular image, and the other image is going to be the sharpened image. So let's see the difference. See, there's much more detail that it brought out. Let's look at the difference. The regular image, sharpened image. Wow, that is. Look at this area here on the side, and you can see the detail that it brought out here. There. So I think this just does an incredible job of stacking and sharpening. So that's the final image. It's a little bit dark, so what I'll probably do, I'll take this back into Lightroom, or probably Lightroom, and or maybe Photoshop, Camera Raw, and brighten that up. Maybe let me try doing that since I got Photoshop open. I don't need these anymore. Let me open. Take this sharpened image. Let's brighten this up a little bit. I'm going to brighten it too much because then I'll lose some of the detail. 50. Not going to mess with contrast. Bring out a little bit of the highlights, the whites. .25 or 20. clarity. I'm not going to mess with shadows, so let's see before and after. Before, after, that's a big difference. I'm going to say open image. Let's save that. Into that same folder. Call this Adobe Camera Raw. Save it as a JPEG. There we go. Let's take one final look. So this is the Adobe Camera Raw sharpened image. Sharpened image that we ran through Adobe Camera Raw. And this should be the sharpened image coming out of Autostakkert. Look at that, wow. And that was stacking the 20. If I would have stacked the 52 images, I think we would have been able to bring out even more detail, but that's how that works. So I hope you found this video useful, and hopefully it will urge you to go out and try to take some pictures of the moon and try this yourself. I'm just going to close these programs out, so I don't need these anymore. Thanks for watching.